Welcome back to Rockstar Intuition. In today's video, we're going to explore and debunk some pervasive myths around psychic abilities, with a particular focus on intuition and remote viewing. Whether you're an artist, musician, creative professional, entrepreneur, or you're simply someone who's drawn to the mysterious and extraordinary, this video will help you break free from some of the limiting beliefs that are blocking your intuitive potential. Let's get into it. Myth number 1, only certain special people are psychic. This one is false. Everyone is born psychic, but society conditions us to ignore and suppress these abilities. When we get in tune with our true nature, we break free from limiting narratives and become less reliant on external validation. You probably have psychic experiences every day without necessarily even noticing them. Just like music or athletics, some people may have a natural talent for clairvoyance or psychic abilities. Some people might even have heaps of talent. I call these people rockstar intuitives. Like every musician has their own signature sound, every intuitive rock star has their own style and flow. We see these rockstar intuitives all over the place. The geniuses in every field, from the scientists like Albert Einstein to musicians like David Bowie and entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs. But we also see it in people we know and interact with on a daily basis. Teachers, lawyers, doctors, therapists, mechanics, stock traders, artists, videographers, gardeners, performing artists, construction workers, project managers, researchers, photographers, engineers, coaches, and lots more. The Premonition Code is a great book which highlights the everyday nature of precognition and intuitive psychic experience. I read this one early in my own journey and highly recommend it. This book is also great for people who prefer their science to be cut with a little more creativity, as it's co-authored by dream researcher Teresa Chung and neuroscientist Julia Mossbridge, who also happens to be a certified intuitive rock star. In fact, she recently took on a prominent position with the telepathy tapes. Most of the high achievers I've met are pretty intuitive, regardless of the field in which they excel. But I've noticed intuition rockstarism tends to be more common in 3 particular groups. Group number 1, creative professionals in all artistic fields. If you're creating at a high level, you probably already know a thing or two about the force. Number 2, people like coaches and therapists whose work involves deep interpersonal connection with other people. And number 3, emergency services, first responders, law enforcement, and military professionals. Their intuition guides them through life and death situations on a daily basis. The reasons for this, I'm pretty sure, is that these groups of people just get a lot more practice with their intuition. They're out there doing intuitive stuff every single day. Which brings me to my next myth, one many of us tell ourselves, consciously or unconsciously. I'm not psychic. Yes, you are psychic. Now let's prove it. Have you ever felt like you were being stared at and then caught someone in the act? Thought about a loved one and they message you right at that moment? Had an extremely vivid and/or lucid dream or deja vu? Have you ever followed your gut or a premonition on something that turned out to be correct? Or maybe you've received and acted upon a flash of creative inspiration in your artistic process. If you said yes to any of these things, congratulations. Your psychic faculties are fully intact. If you have these types of experiences regularly, it might imply that you're actually becoming increasingly in tune with your intuition. Chances are you're already more in tune than you think. Regardless of your baseline level of intuition, everyone can practice and improve. Most people don't know that intuition is a trainable thing, like any muscle or skill. Maybe you don't feel like a rock star intuitive right now, but we all have stuff we're good at, our rock star stuff. Something we love to do that puts us in a state of flow, something that engages us mind, body, and soul. One of mine is playing the bass. It works every time. It doesn't necessarily have to be something you do to make money either, but more power to you if it is. I love getting paid to do rock star stuff. Despite the material definitions that we might associate with the term rock star, the keys to becoming one are that your chosen activity is something that excites you creatively and you just put the reps in. Just like building muscle or playing an instrument, consistency and the right training program can enhance your abilities. I found remote viewing to be particularly effective for this. It's like strength training for the soul. Doing remote viewing as a practice and doing it well is an intuitive martial art. Even if you've never trained in remote viewing, your own favorite flow state inducing activity is a great place to start for training your intuitive faculties. In fact, if you already have a creative or meditative practice, you're already getting those gains. Flow state is one of the places where science and magic truly collide in observable ways. Learning how to recognize flow state is the first step towards developing an ability to enter it at will, which can be a very useful skill in pretty much any situation. Here's an easy activity to try it out. Set aside half an hour to have fun doing your favorite flow state activity, whatever it is. Before you start, set an intention to notice when you are in flow. Then just jot down anything you noticed about the experience after. If you decide to give this a go, let me know how it went in the comments. Now on to the biggest myth. Myth number 3, psychic abilities aren't real. That's false too. You're not real. At least that's what Nobel-winning physicists have said. They've suggested that reality itself isn't even real. Or in other words, all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration. We're all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There's no such thing as death, life is only a dream, and we are the imagination of ourselves. Now here's Tom with the weather. Hippie woo-woo tropes aside, the best theory or model we have right now, in my opinion, is that we exist in a conscious, creative, quantum-entangled, holographic energy field. Think of this energy as being like the Force from Star Wars. What we experience as physical reality is more like a hologram. In this model, reality is the projection of this Force energy through an information layer, and the projection is given physical form by conditions of time and space, like gravity. Like Obi-Wan said, more or less, everything is made of the Force and is connected through it at a fundamental level, including us. And since every piece of a hologram contains the whole picture, we can connect to or entangle with anything in existence through the Force energy that binds us together. If that still sounds a little too out there, don't worry. There's plenty of scientific evidence for psychic phenomena beyond just the theoretical. So what about the actual science? Perhaps the best example of scientific evidence for the reality of intuition is the well-documented U.S. military remote viewing program, which began in the 1970s and included research and development of a methodology for psychic espionage at the Stanford Research Institute. The documentary film Third Eye Spies is a great watch if you're interested in learning more about the history of remote viewing and SRI, directly from the people who were there. The Y-Files on YouTube also has some solid videos on this subject. Long story short though, SRI in the 70s was a hub for rockstar intuitives. The SRI program expanded into an operational military unit in 1978 under Project Stargate, which conducted research in military and domestic intelligence applications for intuition and remote viewing. While the government RV program was officially scrapped and declassified in 1995 or so, with a typical disinfo program to confuse the true significance of the project, remote viewing contractors continued to work for various agencies and businesses around the world, and thousands of people study, practice, and teach the method to this day, myself included. More on this later. While certain elements within mainstream science, scientism cultists you might call them, may not universally accept this phenomena yet, the findings of independent scientific communities and countless personal experiences provide compelling support for this. You don't have to take my word for it though, or even the US government's. Whether you believe it's real or you don't believe it's real, you're right. That's how it works. Two of my favorite books to dive deeper on this subject, both of which are also packed with accurate historical and scientific references, are Real Magic by Dean Radin, which is more science-focused, and The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot, which is more theory-focused. Check out the link in the description for the Rockstar Intuition course if you want to try it yourself. Learning through experience is really the best way to prove this to yourself, one way or the other. Myth number 4. Intuition is irrational or illogical. False. Intuition, like creativity, is seen as more of a right brain function, while logic is typically seen as a left brain function. Even though intuition operates differently than logic, it doesn't necessarily contradict it. Intuition is non-rational and non-logical, which is a subtle but important distinction. Intuitive impressions don't need to arrive or make sense in a logical way to be correct. In fact, they often show up unexpectedly or in ways that can be hard to immediately recognize, like animal visitations or synchronicities. Those are probably the most common examples. This can be hard to swallow for some people, and I get it, but bear with me. Think of intuition and logic like an iPhone versus an Android. They function on different operating systems, but both devices allow you to watch awesome, mind-expanding content like this video, or to spend all day doom scrolling. In a similar way, intuition and logic operate differently, but ultimately help you gather information to support informed decision-making and well-being. Here's someone else you might know who agrees with me. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We've created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Myth number 5. Psychic stuff is just new age mumbo jumbo. While some think intuition is tied to spirituality or the supernatural, and it definitely can be used to explore these realms, if the woo-woo language often used in conjunction with these topics feels off-putting to you, and I'm guilty of being one of these people, it can help to think of intuition as a creative skill instead of something mystical. We've already established that the line between creativity and intuition is very thin, or perhaps even non-existent, just like reality. While many intuitive people are spiritually inclined, intuition itself isn't inherently spiritual. You can be highly intuitive without being interested in spirituality at all. Even if you find it helps you connect with higher intelligence, the Force, Spirit, God, etc., the process behind intuition is explainable by science and ordinary mind-body processes. In particular, intuitive processes and functioning appear to be centralized in the heart, brain, and gut, with the heart being the key player. For more information, including solid research studies about how intuition interacts with the body, I recommend you check out the Institute of Heart Math. They've been studying this stuff for decades. They participate in all kinds of fascinating explorations, including the Global Coherence Project, which is a worldwide precognition and interconnection experiment using random number generators. Myth number 6. Intuition and psychic abilities are infallible. This one is definitely false as well. Since all the other myths have been anti-psychic, we'll go ahead and strike down a limiting belief in the other direction. The problem isn't with intuition, however, it's with our interpretation of it. Psychic abilities are not 100% accurate. Anyone who's telling you otherwise is full of shit. But neither is Tom with the weather, and we will still sometimes rely on his advice. Your intuition is probably more reliable than Tom. Sorry, Tom. Our intuition itself is always right, because all it does is retrieve and present data to us. The data it presents is 100% accurate. The challenge we face because of the nature of intuition is the interpretation of this data. Intuition's native language is symbolism and emotion. Our monkey mind can easily misinterpret those things. This can be frustrating and lead to self-doubt, but it's not your intuition that's wrong. It's your ability to understand it that needs to level up. Think of a language you don't know very well. For me, it's pretty much all of them except English. But let's go with French, because I'm Canadian. If I was talking to a native French speaker who had a perfect accent, I could still easily miss things or hear them wrong. The same principle applies to intuition. You need to learn the language, and the cool thing is, your language is specific to you. Again, just as every musician has a signature sound, every intuitive rock star has their own intuitive language. Give yourself time to learn and improve. Growing your understanding of your own intuitive language, whether through regular practice of things like remote viewing and meditation, or just general creativity, is a surefire path to rock star status. Intuition and psychic skills are not just for the special or gifted, but for anyone willing to put in the effort to train and develop these faculties. Not only can everyone develop their intuition, but a strong, healthy intuition can be a reliable bullshit detector in our current age of AI and questionable news. It also improves creativity and well-being. Remote viewing is my go-to for training these faculties and using them to enhance my everyday life. This isn't woo-woo new age mumbo-jumbo either, just a repeatable, science-backed methodology. Breaking free from limiting beliefs about psychic abilities can open up a world of possibilities, but only if you act on them. If you're ready to take the next step and unleash your inner rock star, check out the Rockstar Intuition course and start transforming your life today. Thanks for watching.